I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Friday, May the 7th, brought to you in part by Zactran. Stress opens the gate to bovine respiratory disease. Zactran slams it shut. Remember to observe your 35-day withdrawal period after treatment. For more information, go to Zactran.com or visit with your Beringer Ingelheim representative. Who's going to feed them? Tell you what, this corn keeps going higher and higher every day, and on Thursday closed at 759 and a half for nearby, 625 and a half for new crop, and we got some prognosticators that think it's just going to keep going and might blow by $10 a bushel. If indeed we are in a corn shortage and people start panicking, I mean, it's just like a bank rush. I mean, it could just keep going, I guess. We've never seen it before, but I guess anything could happen. But who's going to feed these cattle? You know, if you take your current spot May corn at 759 and a half, well, you use my old rule of thumb that I got from Billy Simmons, and you double those first two figures, it's going to cost $1.50 a pound to put a pound on these cattle in the feedlot. And a lot of you guys roll your eyes and say, oh no, it won't cost them. It will. And it's likely going to be higher than that because our input costs are higher than they've been for a long, long time. Who can afford to do it? Talk to people this week that's got cattle ready to go to the feedlot. They don't want to send them. Surely there's something we can feed these cattle. These guys are saying that we can put some weight on them, or just hold them, or just, you know, if we're like a rat in a trap. We don't even want cheese anymore. We just want out. And I tell you what, I don't know who's going to feed the cattle. And if this corn continues to go up, we don't know who's going to feed them. Well, we do. The Packers' corporate partners are going to feed the cattle because they're under contract to do so. So you've got your big corporate feeders, and they'll continue to feed the cattle. You think, well, how can they afford to do it? Well, we found out during the onset of the COVID that the formula deals that they're on include some of these box beef cutout values and or profit sharing from the packing house. Well, there you go. Now, if we had this Cattle Market Transparency Act bill voted through, part of that bill says that we're going to get a library of these sweetheart deals, and we're going to be able to see what's in there. And smaller guys are going to be able to negotiate their deal if they want to do it. But the Packers are going to have to buy a lot more cattle negotiated cash because we're going to establish minimum requirements. So, you know, that's quite a deal. But what else can you feed these cattle? You know, I've talked to guys that are just holding cattle. You know, they're just you know, there's not a lot of available grazing out there, especially in the West. Now you get in the Eastern Corn Belt and kind of mid-Atlantic and up through that part of the country, you got some grazing, and they're going to graze them wherever. You know, the old guys when I was up in Missouri said when it really gets dry, we'll cut a tree down and let them eat the leaves. But you guys in the central part of the country and where it's starting to get really dry, you know, there's piles of silage around. There's haylage around. You can grow some hay grazer and stuff like that without too much problem, and you can find something for these cattle to eat. And you know, if nothing else, just get them to a heavier weight and take them to the cow plant. It'd be better off than feeding them that expensive corn and trying to make them a great choice for these steer and heifer packers that are just cutting everybody's throat. You know, get rid of them. That's kind of where we're at, guys. I remember one of the old St. Joe Stockyards commission guys, Steve Mills, a good friend of mine. He used to tell me the story, and I loved when he told me the story. He told me about a cattle deal back in the 70s. When a guy got in a big string of Hereford cattle there, and he was real proud of them, and had a big long string he was going to turn out and background and then feed. Well, he had a bad storm come in, and it killed half the cattle when he got them in. And new arrivals, bad winter storm, blizzard come in, killed half the cattle. I'm sure they were ballers. Back in those days, I'm sure they were ballers. But anyway, saved half the cattle, got them straightened up, got them backgrounded, took them to the feedlot. Corn got high. The cattle that he saved lost more money than the ones that died. We're starting to flirt with deals like that in here, guys. And it's getting scary out here. And I'm not sure what folks are going to do, but these packers are just used to people making these cattle to these obese heavy weights and just helping them out. Meanwhile, they flirt around with penalizing you for heavy carcasses. But, they're used to choice cattle. And the cattle that don't grade choice, they think ought to grade prime. 25 years ago, when I started with USDA, we thought prime was a fluke of nature. About 2% of graded cattle graded prime. Now that we got this instrument grading, which is, cameras taking pictures of it rather than graders standing on the line, and we're taking cattle to weigh 1,800 pounds, you start seeing pretty high percentages of prime. And, that's just the way things have gone. But it's really getting scary out there, and I'm not sure who's going to feed these cattle. You can't buy these feeder cattle cheap enough if corn's going to keep getting higher. It just won't work. There's no way to make it work. People want out. People that can afford it are laying out of the market. I've talked to guys that aren't even turning bulls out with their cows. They think that they're going to be able to help things a little bit. I tell you what, we're going to get these numbers back in our favor, and as dry as it is around, as high as the feed is, people aren't going to be feeding these cattle so heavy. They're going to be shucking them quicker. It kind of reminds you of 2012. Well, you remember what happened in 2012. A couple years later, we saw your all-time record high cattle prices. Things are kind of lining up that way again. And it's starting to look that way. We're going to get short of numbers. People are selling cows like crazy. They weren't able to keep any heifers back because they didn't have a place to put them. And but I'm not sure who's going to be able to make it through to that. Now, you guys that have a town job and a small operation, yeah, you can probably do that. But guys that are already hawked to their eyeballs and running short on equity, they're really up against it. I tell you what, I'm not sure what we can do. And then you look at hog prices, and a lot of people have said, hogs are higher than cattle. Hogs aren't higher than cattle. Lean hog futures have gotten up there pretty high. Yeah, but that's based on a dress price. That's a dress price, not a live price. But hogs are really high. And you think, well, why do your pork processors allow hog prices to be high? They've rubbed everybody out. There's no independent hog feeders left. So they don't have to worry about it. They can go back in and balance things out. They're heavily invested in feeding hogs too, and they can make both those enterprises balance out. And, in 1998, I've told you guys a lot of times, your pork industry took your hog price to 8 cents a pound. Well, it rubbed everybody out. What are they going to do with cattle? How far down do they have to take them to rub everybody out? Well, right now we're getting charity bids, which is kind of embarrassing. But likely we're going to hold the market right where we're at right now because packers are kind of feeling like maybe they've gone too far. Maybe these idiots won't keep feeding cattle for us if we take it down anymore. Cattle could be bringing about $2 a pound live, and we could still wash, considering what choice boxes are. Maybe right in there, 118, 119 is a place we can kind of roll through here as we get through the heavy demand of grilling season with Mother's Day and Father's Day and Memorial Day and everything coming up. Let's just kind of roll through here 118, 119 bids. Well, your hedged feeder on Thursday, he figures he lost another $1. Why? Because spot June live cattle futures were up $1.05. Well, if he's got trade paper, he lost $1 in the market because the board was better. And that's how screwed up things are. Tell you what, I've been talking about this meeting of truce going to happen down in Phoenix, Arizona. I found out late this week that evidently we weren't supposed to know about it. It was supposed to be top secret. So I guess I'll let that out of the bag, and oops, and Lord, I apologize. I shouldn't have said that. But you guys thought I was bald, didn't you? But anyways, we know about it now. So are they going to get something done or not? I did see the complete list of people that are going to be there. 4 from each association that was invited. Didn't see any Packers represented there. They would have probably had to pack the gun if they were going to come in there. But it's time to get something done, guys, and we have to come together. And we got to hope and even pray that the leadership and the wisdom of the people that are going to that meeting can overtake the differences that the associations have. You gotta leave your ego at the door, guys. And when you go in there, you gotta leave your differences at the door. Come together, get something that can done. Get it on a piece of paper, and I'd like to see all of you sign it like a Declaration of Independence, and be proud of it. Sign it like John Hancock did, and then tell the rest of us what you decided to do, and let's run with it. I talked to several people who are talking about this meeting, and they say, well, what we're afraid of is we trust the guys that are going there, the member leaders that are going to be going in there. We trust them, but we're afraid that the staff, the CEOs of these associations won't facilitate what these guys come to agreement on. And it makes me think, well, who's working for who? And I want you guys to think about that. Let's talk about the board on Thursday. June live cattle futures up $1.05, 115.47, and like I said, a lot of guys figured they lost $1 with steady cash market, and they're hedged up. If they're going to have to sell this week, they said, "Damn it, lost $1 in the trade this week." But that's how screwed up things are when you're rooting against the board being higher. As much losses as we've seen lately. August live cattle up 75 cents at 118.47. Go out forward from there, up 22 cents to up $1.62. How about May feeder cattle down $1? Of course, 130.47. Your grains were higher again. August down $1.82 at 143.40. They could go to nothing, guys. They really could. Go out front. Your back months on your feeder cattle down 192 to down 247. Talked about your grains. May corn up 6 1/4 cents on Thursday at 7.59.5. December up 20 3/4 cents at 6.25.5. New crop. We're gonna have a bumper crop. I don't care how dry it gets, guys. And 6.25.5 already, up 20 3/4 cents on 1 day session. How about May beans up 23.5, 16.05.5. So you got corn over $7.50 a bushel, beans over $16 a bushel. Wow. November new crop beans up 26 1/4 cents at 14.09 already for new crop beans. Talk about your fat cattle trade. We're bitching about everything. Really, our market this week has just been kind of steady to weak. With the charity bids that we're getting, Packers could realistically take this thing to nothing if they wanted to. We can't eat them all. What are we going to do? We've got to have some kind of intervention in here. We got to have minimum negotiated cash trade. But your charity bids kind of held things close to steady this week. Iowa and Nebraska sold a lot of cattle. Southern Plains and Colorado haven't traded hardly anything. Iowa 900 head on Thursday, 24,200 head for the week, 117 to mostly 119 on Thursday, 187 on some dress sales. Nebraska 500 head, 32,500 head for the week, 118 live, 187 dressed. Kansas 2,400 head on Thursday, 7,100 head is all for the week, 119 is the live price. Texas 1,100 head on Thursday, 6,900 head for the week. $1.19 was the live price. Colorado 400 on Thursday, 1,000 for the week at 118. So you saw how your Kansas and Texas sellers dug their heels in, and they didn't get much trade. and all of a sudden now they're trading a premium to what the northern plains in Colorado are. You know, Colorado was getting $1.21 or $2 just a week or so ago. About to lose my voice again. How about box beef cutout values? Choice cuts on Thursday afternoon, 306.37. Wow. All-time record high without the Black Swan event, but unbelievable. Up $1.59. Select 289.36, up 318. Your drop value is $11.35, guys. It's always $7 to $9. It's $11.35. They are, I mean, it's raining money for these packers, and they refuse to give any of it up. It's unbelievable. Cattle should be bringing close to $2 a pound live. Fat cattle. How about your slaughter, 470,000 this week? That compares to 477 last week, so down 7,000. We're up 130,000 compared to the same week a year ago. Of course, you guys know what was going on then. Actual slaughter data come back for the week ending April the 24th. Average slaughter steer weight's 896, down 2 pounds from the previous report, so that helps a smidge. How about your feeder cattle market? Your real-time index on DV auction late in the day on Thursday at 130.31, down $1.04. Your big sales, how about winter livestock? Pratt, Kansas, Steve Stratford and the boys, 5,100. That's a big run. So they had some late wheat there, guys. Cattle coming off graze out there. Feeders, $2 to $5 lower. Calves, $5 to $10 lower. Man, I tell you, that's disheartening for guys that have been running cattle out there all winter. Looked on your automated market report and saw your big steer weights, 796 head of the 8-weight steers. That's all of them. Averaged 853 at 127.75. That was down about $4.50 from last week. 1,193 head of 9-weight steers in Pratt, Kansas, averaged 955 at 122.45. That's the market, down over $5.50. Ouch. How about some individual quotes from around the circuit? And I do mean around. Market, I'm going to be talking about a whole lot more. Recently signed up with DV Auction, going to be broadcasting all their sales way out west. Orland Livestock Commission Yard, Orland, California. Now they're going to benefit from Ellington Peak Sale being closed there at Cottonwood because they're close by, and they had a big special on Thursday, including 65 head, 660 pound steers at $158. Way out there on the coast, guys. How about Lamona, Iowa? Jason Allen told me about some sales there. Lamona Livestock Auction Market, 119 head, 795 pound steers bring $143.50. You must have some free corn. But I heard from Zach Ballard, he's the new Greater Midwest Livestock Auctioneer Champion. Got to know him up there in Belle Fourche last week. He told me about Presho Livestock Auction, Presho, South Dakota. 2 loads of steers weighing 848, right at 8.5 at 139.25. And that's your feeder flash for Friday.